Thank you for being back. If you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Weekend right here on Enterprise Television. Let's get to our main conversation for today. The presidency has said the failure of some ministers to render accounts of their stewardship prompted President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent directive for a periodic press briefing by cabinet members. On Tuesday, the federal government announced that ministers would begin to hold regular press briefings next week to update Nigerians on government policies and activities. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, disclosed this in Abuja, stating that President Tinubu had mandated all ministers to engage with the public regularly to promote transparency and accountability. According to Idris, the briefings will provide a platform for ministers to highlight key developments in their respective ministries, address public concerns, and combat misinformation. The minister's announcement has fueled speculation that the directive may serve as a means to reassess the performance of ministers, potentially paving the way for a cabinet reshuffle ahead of Tinubu's second anniversary in office. We still have Emeka Madunagu. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Now, it's a different thing to have our ministers say what they are doing. It's another thing to know if they have even done something in the first place.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you can only say what you have done when you have actually done something. Funnily, growing up, 80s and the 90s, we could, at the top of our head, know Jerry Ghana is the Minister of Information, and lots of other ministers. You can, they were closer to the people, and kids could readily say, this is the Minister of Education, this is the Minister of Petroleum Resources, this is the Minister of this. But right now, we don't even know. We only know Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Do you know the funny thing?
Yes.
Some days ago, was it online or was it newspaper? I was going through a newspaper. And then I now saw one advert. I saw one man, minister of something. I was surprised. This one, the minister in Nigeria. Who? When? Even the position is not even something. I said, is there a position like this? So, that tells you that a lot of these people are just occupying space. When we were in secondary school, or was in primary school, that they taught us integrated science.
Yeah.
When they said they define matter. Matter is a disk that occupies space, and that's what many of them are. Where is the performance now? If the performance is there, you will see it on the streets. You will see it on the streets. You don't need to be told. You don't need to be told. That is it. That is why you see everybody blames the president. Because, you see, everything rises and falls on leadership. And Tinubu has been told, remove these ministers, but he refused to. You think he will do any cabinet reshuffle? Somebody will remove 5 ministers and appointed 7. He's not going to, some months ago, we remove who? He's not going to remove, they will be there. As long as, as long as they can, God save the king. God save the king. So who cares? He's more interested now in 2027, how he will use them to wangle his way into his second term. That's what he's more interested in now. So removing anybody to me, man, it's far-fetched. Maybe out of the question. Because what exactly? Why does the president have to tell them to go, direct them to go and tell Nigerians? Come on. Do you need to be told that it's raining? You will know when it's raining. You will know when the sun is shining. But if you have to, if when somebody greets you good morning, you have to go out and check whether the sun is shining, then what it means is that that person's greeting is empty. That's what's happening. Because why? The caliber of people that Tinubu has chosen as ministers, don't understand that Nigeria is in a crisis. Nigeria is in a deep mess. And therefore, they must apply unusual measures to bring about results. They think it's just the same business as usual. No, it's not. The president has made you a minister. Go there and perform extraordinarily. Go go there and shine. And it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. That's what I tell people. I'm an administrator. I'm also a trainer. I'm also, a leadership and administrative, a trainer in administration. And I tell people, when you are given a job, an assignment, listen, even if you're given a letter, stating your roles, maybe 5 bullet points, add 3 to it, or add another 5, between 3 and 5 to it, that you will do to show yourself as an exceptional, individual, as a performer. That is what will stand you out. Not people, you see people there, that's not my job. Oh. Excuse me, whose job is it? A dog that belongs to everybody dies easily. Because everybody says it's not my responsibility, it's not my turn to feed the dog, and the dog will die of hunger. So what I'm saying is this: we cannot continue to do things the same way. There must be some unusual measures. I mean, where do I begin from? Just name any sector of the economy. Have you seen anything unusual? Have you seen anything unusual? Just mainly sound bites and, So if people have seen anything unusual, let them tell me. So that I don't want to mention any minister, so that nobody will say that this guy hates me. That's why he mentioned. So that's why I say if there's any sector, maybe you can lead the discussion. Let's look at sectors. Then I know it was Henry that prompted the discussion, so that nobody will accuse me of spoiling his or her chances, for a political advancement.
Yeah, because of course this is more like the parable of the talent, isn't it?
They've all buried their talents.
Yeah, buried their talent, and
that's what you see. Because when people tell you that everything is okay, I mean, ask people, why do you why do we Nigerians have this capacity for self-immolation, for cutting ourselves, for injuring ourselves, lying to ourselves? Things are not okay. I mean, many families cannot feed. Look at the number of people who ask you every day for help. The number of people who meet you on the road. The other day I boarded a bike. One man just stood as the bike was moving. Daddy, please help me with money for transport. A bike was moving. I mean, so maybe the man could have even carried me on the bike. People have become so desperate. Before we could say, don't mind them, you are lazy, you don't want to work. Where is the work? Where is the job? School cert holders are doing, I said school cert, sorry. Master's degree holders are working as security men.
PhD holders are drivers.
Drivers, yes. Drivers. Many of the guys driving Uber were in good jobs before. Yeah. Some were bankers.
Very well.
Doing good jobs. Some maybe jackpot or something, and things didn't work out for them abroad. They came back. So, those days we used to look at taxi drivers as, the dregs of society, because you saw their taxis looking one kind. But these days, you will see guys riding fine cars, using them as Uber. Well dressed, speaking well. I mean, sometimes when you even see, people who turn up, in this Uber business or Bolt or Lag Ride or which one,
you're even scared and ask yourself.
You'll be scared that all this one is not a kidnapper, because the guy is looking well dressed, polished. How can this kind, even ladies, how can this kind of fine looking person be? But the reality is that is the truth. That's the truth. That's what the economy has turned us into. Graduates, some with masters, are teachers. How much are they earning? They're not earning up to the minimum wage of 70,000. Earning 40,000. Sometimes, they don't even get paid at the end of the month. Where do we begin from? So, for President Bola Tinubu to have directed them to go and tell the people what they are doing shows that he himself, maybe to some extent, is frustrated. He's not impressed. Yes, he's not impressed with their performance.
Yeah.
That you guys are exposing me to ridicule. Some of the pronouncement, the Minister of Education the other day said that they are thinking of scrapping 6334.
Yes, exactly. 212 and 4, and one.
This is something backed by a law. Before they brought in 6334, it took a long time coming. Discussion, stakeholder engagement, and all of that. You just woke up. Maybe after a nice bowl of pounded yam, and a four soup, you just came out. We are thinking of scrapping 6334. My children were asking me, Daddy, is it true that
there are no more
6334? I said, please don't mind them. You understand? The other one, this is a predecessor, came out and said that admission to university will be 18 years. And we're asking him, so what will, if my child finishes at 15 or 16, what will the child be doing for me at home? Like I was asking some people, I said, I don't have a kiosk in my house. I don't have a shop in my house. So if my son or my daughter finishes at 15 or 15 plus, what will the child be doing at home?
Such a child should not proceed.
So, but you now say, no, they are outliers, that they're exceptional. And all of, who doesn't want his or her child to be exceptional? Then the current minister now said, that for anybody who is below 16, to gain admission, from JAMB, you will have to score 300 and above. Why do you overregulate education? It should be an open sector, a free sector, where you encourage people to to put in their best. Come, let me tell you, forget the fact that you see the children of all these women frying akara by the side of the road, or Okada riders, and there are those of them who have exceptionally brilliant children.
Very well, very, very well.
But the only things, unfortunately, is that they don't have the money to give these children the best of education. When you interact with some of these children, even children begging on the streets, when you interact with some of them, tears will come to your eyes. That we're just a nation, blessed, endowed, but we don't even know what to do with ourselves. And that is where the problem is. That's why the president will have to tell them, will have to direct them to go and tell Nigerians what they are doing. How? Because Nigerians know that they have all failed.
But don't you think that we can't, of course, allow Tinubu off the hook, because lots of the ministers would say the reason they are not performing is because of the policies made possible by the president himself.
And they have not resigned. And why have they not resigned? If anybody says that, you know what, that person should be taken to a Sharia court and given 100 lashes of the cane, and then thrown into outer darkness, like the Bible says. If the kitchen is too hot, get out. If you can't stay in the kitchen, if it's too hot, get out of the kitchen. Because there are people who are ready to serve.
Even with the limitations and
which limitation
and the policies.
I've never heard President Bola Tinubu. I don't support him.
Yes.
But the truth must be told. I've never heard President Bola Tinubu say, don't perform. This, that. I've never heard him say that. These policies you talk about are enunciated by ministers. Was it not a minister that said they were going to scrap a 6334? Who told him? Who sent him that?
Of course, no. But
do you know what 6334 meant? That after 6 years in primary school, by the way, in the constitution of Nigeria, you can become president or governor, or even senator or rep, or member of House of Assembly with a primary school certificate and 10 years of working experience. Is there in the constitution? Is there in the constitution? Primary school and 10 years of working experience. So that 6 benefits the politicians, right? Then 3, which was first 3 years in secondary school. The original, because interestingly, my set in 1987, we were the guinea pigs, quote unquote, that were used to test 6334, because we were in unity schools then, federal government colleges. We were used to, well, they should just have allowed us to do our work in 1987 and just go away. They deceived us that, don't worry, you will not do JAM. Once you have your 6 credits, you get admission to university. All lies. We ended up doing JAM. Then it wasn't even called UTME, it was called JAM. Then, at the end of the day, it was the same rigmarole. But that first 3 years was actually meant that when you get that certificate, you could use it to work, maybe do some stuff, you know. But lo and behold, where are we today? Where are we today? It's only the 6 that's benefiting politicians, you know. And now, what does that tell you? It tells you that the political class, we have a wicked political class that just takes care of itself. They don't care about the people. Look at the Chief of Defense Staff, General Chris Musa, who was denied a visa by the Canadian High Commission. What was the issue? Forget the fact that he and the National Security Advisor, Ribadu, were trying to sensationalize it. But there was a blunder by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. People, high-ranking military officers, were going to Canada on a mission, you know, to attend the ceremony. You send their visa application, you didn't add a note verbal. They were not going for holiday. They were not going for shopping. They were not going for a wedding. They were not going to visit their wives or their side chicks. They were going there on an official assignment. So normally, you're supposed to attach a note verbal to say, these are so and so and so people, you know, these are their positions, and this is what they are going for. You know, kindly extend diplomatic courtesies to them and all that. You know, I've been a foreign affairs, you know, diplomatic correspondent, you know, so I know about a lot of these things. You attach a note verbal. The note verbal was not attached, and that's why the CDS was not giving a visa. Ribadu didn't even know about it. He just came out.
He just came and go to hell.
What is going on? How about let these people apply some common sense now? Let them apply some intellectual content and stop embarrassing this country. The Minister of Foreign Affairs should have come out quickly to say, sorry, it was our fault. Please, we made this blunder. But they kept quiet. It was later they came and no, you see, we are trying to sort it out. Why? They look at the undiplomatic statement by Ribadu that they can go to hell. How can you say that to a friendly nation?
An ally.
How can you say that to a friendly nation? And then the other one, Matawale, you know, under whose watch insecurity has become a scourge, saying that we should deal with Canada decisively. You forget one thing, that Canada can make things difficult for you people. Very, very serious. You think it's the ordinary Nigerians that you ride roughshod over? Or it's the ordinary Nigerians whom you tell to go to hell every day? You think that's Canada? They'll put you in your place when the time comes. So the fact of the matter is that we have had abject failure in this administration. When they came in, all they depended on was advice from IMF, World Bank. I've engaged some of the people who tried to defend them. And I said, why are you defending the indefensible? And that foreign exchange policy. Which foreign exchange policies? Which policies? How can you say that the IMF said the Naira, we should float the Naira until it finds its value? Finds its value based on what?
Is it based on the fact that we are a producing nation?
What are you producing? Only crude. And by the way, you don't even know the quantity of crude you are pumping. You don't even know. You are not meeting up to your OPEC quota of 2.2 million barrels per day. You just woke up and say you have an ambitious target of 3 million barrels. Now, you are not up to 2.2, you have come down to 1.7. Sometimes you come down to 1.5. Why do we like to sweat the big stuff when we've not been able to just sort out the simple, small stuff? And what is it? Just get things together. If you look at the files, in the files before those ministers, there are, you know, things that have been discussed, policies that have been ironed out, that they can, you know, that they can follow. But everybody wants to use his own, to bring in his own method. And as if you can redesign the wheel. You don't need to redesign the wheel. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Name it. In what area today can you just say that, you know, even the Bosun Tijani that people were holding up, have you tried to process a passport? Have you got it? They said the contactless passport will be for those renewing. their
That's
passports.
Minister of Interior. That
Interior.
is. Yes.
Now look at the embarrassment coming from the correctional centers. Look at soldiers. The other day it was soldiers and policemen fighting
over
behind the Warri refinery over allegations that it was Air Force personnel that they were trying to protect somebody carrying drugs, carrying illicit substances. Then look at the other one that happened, I think, in Benue State also. Civil Defense abducted 2 policemen for harassing them. What is going on? You know what somebody said? Somebody said when they cannot harass Nigerians anymore, they turn on each other.
Yeah, just like a masquerade that when he looks for somebody to brutalize and he does not see, he goes to the man who is holding on to his money.
So that is the problem. And I think it's not too late for them to do something. They should, the problem is that some of them have their eyes on running for governorship. Some of them are interested in becoming senator or going to the House of Reps. And so, some of them also see themselves as being in competition with the governors of their states. So they cannot concentrate. They cannot concentrate. And you cannot serve 2 masters. You are in the government of President Bola Tinubu. You have to concentrate. Serve that government. Not one leg here, one leg in, one leg out. You cannot make a difference at all.
Yes, very, very true. Because I'm actually going through a long list of the cabinet members of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, and for me it's like nostalgia. I get to see lots of awesome people here, like the Minister of Transport Jeremiah Oseni, Special Duties Aboye Shekhari, and a long list of what
you have Jubil Aminu.
Yeah, we have
Jubil Aminu, Minister of Education.
The Minister of Health, Olikoye.
No. Ransom Kuti. No.
1985.
See, when you talk about me, you see, Ransom Kuti should have just been called something else. If there was something higher than minister, that man was a doyen. Professor Olikoye Ransom Kuti was a doyen. You know, he was the one who brought in primary health care in Nigeria. That has saved so many lives.
Wow.
That's why you have primary healthcare centers all over the place, in local governments, in villages, and all of that. He was the one. That's why somebody was saying the other day that if Professor Olikoye Ransom Kuti were the Minister of Health, we will not be having this crisis.
Yes.
We will not be having all these health issues. Up till now, we've not been able to defeat Lassa fever. Lassa fever since 1986. We've not been able to find an antidote. You can't kill a virus, but at least you can control it. We've not been able to find an antidote to Lassa fever up till now. It's still killing people.
It's actually very, very interesting. Look at Mines and Power, Tam David West, Communication, Tanko Ayuba, External Affairs, Bolaji Akinyemi, Finance, Chu Okongu, Petroleum Minister Tam David West, and so many other great people who even during
but the
opportunity of bringing their A game.
But the truth be told, some of those people you are mentioning were failures, were total failure. Yes, now was it under Babangida? You've forgotten Chief Olufalaye. He was there now. Was it not under Babangida? Was it under Babangida that SAP was introduced and drove many Nigerian professionals abroad? And was that not when they devalued the naira and taught the naira to push the naira into the cesspit? That was when all this disaster we have in this country. That was when it all started. This economic quagmire. That was when it all started. The point is this: the president, I believe, has not stopped any minister from performing. It is just that the positions some of them were given are bigger than them.
Or they have no clue of what those...
the positions are bigger than them, so they are just marking time in those positions. Because for instance, I don't see what Tunji Alausa is in education.
Exactly.
You moved in from health to education. To achieve what? To achieve what? You removed Doris Uzok Anite as a minister of substantive minister of trade, a minister of trade industry, and then made her a junior minister for finance, and then you now put one other woman. We don't even remember her name. They said she did so well under Buhari, but we don't even know her. At least Doris, as minister, there were certain things she achieved. It's just that, maybe she didn't really publicize those things. One. Two, like the credit cup that Tinubu was talking about, she was the one who brought it about now. That the federal government should actually make funds available for Nigerians to be able to buy things on credit. Buy now, pay later. Or what people call pay small, PSS. She was the one who designed it now. But is anybody saying anything about it? Or you just hear sound bites. Why has it not taken off? Why hasn't it taken off? So you just find, okay, they talk about, tell you about student loan. How many students are benefiting from it? And the way it is being run, is that the way it should be run? They are even disputing the figure. How much has been disbursed. So when you look at all of these things, there's no policy coordination. Is it in the area of security? Each security agency is trying to outdo the other. Instead of engaging in interagency collaboration, they are trying to outdo each other. How will you perform? How will you succeed? How?
Well, I just sincerely hope that, of all persons, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, who is the substantive minister of...
that's even a bigger disaster.
Yes, will come and equally address Nigerians on what he has done also.
Does he even remember he's the minister of petroleum?
Yes, of course.
Does he remember?
To whom much is given?
Look at all the money they pumped into getting a gas pipeline to Morocco, to Europe. Has it not all blown in smoke? Instead of you to pipe gas to all the 36 states and the FCT, like I keep talking about, a Nigeria first policy. Nigeria first, I've been talking about this thing for years. Nigeria first policy. Pipe gas to all the states so that you can develop the industrial base. Now, you have this AKK, Ajakuta, Kaduna, Katsina. And from Katsina, you are going to run it through Niger Republic to Morocco. Now, why? Because you are trying to provide an alternative to Europe, an alternative to gas from Russia. Now, Donald Trump is saying no, as president of the United States, that okay, the most powerful nations of the world will have to commit to, slicing off 50% from their budget, from their budgetary spending, on military issues, on arms and all that, so that there will be peace in the world. Let's stop fighting. So, what it means is that when that is done, it means that Russia can resume pumping
to
gas to Europe.
Which means our Morocco...
Our is dead on arrival now. Because we can't even pass through Niger Republic now. Niger Republic didn't allow us now. We can't pass through Niger Republic. So, why not instead take that gas and pipe all of Nigeria? The whole of Nigeria. Light up Nigeria. I thought that would have been Tinubu's, major agenda. Light up Nigeria. If there's power, let me tell you, there's a lot that can be achieved. For those who are on Band A, my friends on Band A, I sympathize with them.
Yeah.
Some say they are paying 85, some say they are paying 100,000, some 120. So how can I be paying 120,000? In fact, one retired judge who we were at one private gathering the other day, and he was saying that he doesn't like AC, but his wife loves AC so much, so she will put on AC in the house. I'll be shouting at her, put on this AC, put on this AC. Don't you know how much they're billing us? 85,000 naira a month. How much is my pension? Put on this AC. You can imagine. So it's like that for many people. There are people who have even held public protests to say, please, disco, disconnect us. Just tell us you don't want to give us password. Carry your Band A and go. How can we be paying 200,000 naira? Somebody was telling me that his sister is in a block of flats somewhere, and they pay 200,000 every month, on power with a prepaid meter. I said 200,000. How? Unless you are making money from politics, or one thing or the other. But how can you cope with that? You have other bills to pay.
Very true.
So the thing is this: instead of Tinubu telling these people, go and tell Nigerians what you've done, he should sit them down and tell them we have failed collectively, but there's still hope. We can do better. and let us go and do better. For those of them who cannot perform, send them out. There are a lot of Nigerians who can do better. Send them out. Send them away. Some of them who have corruption cases hanging on them, let them go and meet EFCC and sort out their matters, so that your government can be focused. Then the other thing I want to say is this. The Constitution says you must produce a minister from every state. I think that we need to really look at it. The United States has just 15 secretaries. Can call 15 substantive ministers. Look at how big the United States is. They are bigger than us in terms of population. 350 million people. But how many ministers? How many secretaries? But they are performing well. But here, the money spent on recurrent expenditure alone.
Just to fund the ministry.
Just to fund all those things. So, at the end of the day, how do you get things done? You increase the budget, and then 1/3 of the budget you are borrowing to fund it. How do you do that? Who does that? Any serious nation will be talking of, working towards a trade surplus. We'll be talking of reducing the cost of governance, as people have been telling Tinubu to do. But
the same nature of horse vacuum. A situation where those in the cabinet, within the cabinet, who got their positions through transactionary measures. How do you expect them to perform? Because of course they are there because you want to tell them thank you for what they have done or what they hope to do for you. So when they don't perform, you don't blame them, but blame the system that got them into that particular position. I sincerely hope that every of these things that we do would not, of course, fall back on Nigerians, which of course it is obviously doing, but we just hope that things work out fine for us. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you. All right, people, that's just about the time we have for this weekend. Love to say thank you to you once more, and please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us on this particular story and more when you go to enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching and have yourself a wonderful and awesome weekend. Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.